News of Biden exiting the presidential race is overshadowing a major meeting in D.C. this week. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just arrived in D.C. about 2 hours ago. He plans to speak to Congress and sit down with Biden and Harris.
Of course, this comes at a time when Netanyahu is facing ongoing pressure to strike a deal to free hostages in exchange for a ceasefire in Gaza. Our Matthew Torres live at the Watergate Hotel. That's where protests have been popping up. Matthew.
Hey, Adam, the crowd here has gotten larger since the last time we saw you guys at 5 o'clock, knowing Benjamin Netanyahu is going to be here, sparked this protest from pro-Palestinian supporters outside of the Watergate Hotel, where we are seeing increased security, including more police officers, as well as this fencing here. With ongoing protests, including Netanyahu's visit here in D.C., on top of President Joe Biden dropping out of this presidential race, this week could play a pivotal moment in the future of U.S.-Israel relations.
On the wrong side of history.
There's been no ceasing in protests against Israel's military offensive in Gaza. With Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in D.C. this week, Hazami Barmada plans to join many other protesters outside the Capitol Wednesday, when he's expected to address Congress, after House Republican leaders sent him the invitation.
It's demoralizing. It's appalling. It's disgraceful. We need to be talking about a complete change in the relationship, arms embargo, sanctions on Israel.
Calls for a ceasefire intensified throughout the month since the Israel-Hamas war, including from Israeli people demanding a deal so hostages can return home. But Netanyahu's visit is overshadowed by President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the race, likely forcing a change in his approach.
I would say, Mr. Prime Minister, please keep Israel a bipartisan matter in the United States.
Ron Halber of the Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Washington says Netanyahu is reaching a point where he must make a decision on accepting a ceasefire or perhaps the collapse of his government, as he plans to sit with Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris this week.
In the last 6 months, I would expect an unhindered president who doesn't have to worry about re-election flexing his muscles and his priorities. So I think the Prime Minister is going to come under pressure, both from the United States externally and from the Israeli people internally to come to a ceasefire agreement.
Prior to flying to the U.S., Netanyahu assured how Israel will remain a key ally, but he's accused of prolonging the war to his benefit. But now that Harris is endorsed as the next presidential nominee,
this makes Netanyahu's job a little more confusing. He doesn't know Kamala Harris the way he knows Joe Biden.
I do believe that if Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States, she will continue to be a strong supporter of the U.S.-Israel relationship.
She's mute about a lot of things and what she feels about them, so I don't know who I'm getting.
Back out here live because of Netanyahu's visit. On top of that, increased security. We also have a bunch of road closures around this area, so make sure to keep that in mind. We have information on the closures on WSA9.com. But on top of all this protest that's happening here tonight, there are two big ones planned on Wednesday outside the Capitol and on the National Mall. Guys?
Yeah, traffic going to be a big concern, especially in that area around Rock Creek Parkway, so stay tuned. Matthew, thank you.